I always said I was straight, like it was gospel, like it was armor. And for a long time, I believed it. I had Lena. Beautiful, dependable Lena. We'd been together since our final year of college. She was safe, smart, and solid. We'd moved in together last spring, picked out curtains and a toaster like a couple in a damn catalog. If you saw us from the outside, you'd say we had it all. But no one ever asked about Liam. He'd been my best friend since sophomore year. We met during a pickup basketball game. He elbowed me in the ribs and called me a stiff. I trash-talked him all the way through overtime, and we've been inseparable since. He was wild where I was composed, unpredictable where I was calculated. The kind of guy who knew how to make you laugh, even when everything sucked. And for years it was just friendship. At least, that's what I told myself. Even when we'd share a bed after parties, limbs tangled in beer-soaked sheet. Even when I'd wake to find his arm thrown across my chest and my heart hammering for no good reason, I'd shove it down. I'd tell myself it didn't mean anything. Boys could be close. It wasn't that. But then last Friday happened. We were at my place, watching a movie. Lena was out of town visiting her sister. I hadn't planned it. It just happened that Liam came over, beer in hand, collapsing onto my couch like he owned it. He always made himself at home. Halfway through the film, he scooted closer. His thigh brushed mine. I didn't move. I couldn't. The contact felt like electricity, low and steady. I told myself I was imagining it. "Remember that night in Vegas?" he asked suddenly. I tensed. "What about it?" "You were drunk. You said something to me." I swallowed. "I said a lot of things." He looked at me, really looked. His eyes were too quiet. "You said if things were different, you might have tried it. With a guy." I laughed, but it cracked at the edges. That was years ago. Still true. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My throat tightened like it didn't trust me to speak. I looked at the screen. The movie played on, oblivious. He leaned in, his voice low. "Just once, Dan. Just once, and no one has to know." That sentence lit a fuse in my chest. I stood up, pacing, heart pounding like I'd just run a mile. "What the hell are you doing, man?" Liam didn't move. "Saying what I've wanted to say for a long time. You're my best friend. And I've loved you for 5 years." The words landed like a punch. My mouth went dry. My palms were slick. I wanted to scream, to leave, to do something that would break the moment open. But I didn't. Instead, I looked at him, his face flushed, jaw tight, vulnerable in a way I'd never seen. He shook his head, smiling bitterly. "Forget I said anything." "No," I said too fast. I don't know what you want me to say. I want you to tell me I'm crazy. That you've never thought about it. That I'm delusional." I hesitated. And that silence said everything. Liam stood, brushing past me. "I should go." "Liam." He didn't stop. Just grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. The moment it closed behind him, the weight in the room shifted. Like something important had left with him, and I hadn't even tried to stop it. I dropped onto the couch dizzy. Because the worst part? I had thought about it. Not just once. Not just in Vegas. But again and again, in flashes I always pushed away. A glance that lingered too long. A laugh that made me feel too much. A night I wished had ended differently. I told myself it was just friendship. Just male closeness. Nothing real. But Liam's voice echoed in my head. Just once. No one has to know. The idea crawled into my brain and made itself comfortable. I hated it and I craved it. I looked at the photo on the shelf. Me and Lena on the beach. Her arms around me, sun in her hair. She loved me. She trusted me. But I wasn't sure I deserved it anymore. 3 days passed. 3 long, silent days. Liam didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't show up for our usual Wednesday night gym session. The space he left behind felt louder than any argument could have been. I tried to focus on work, on Lena, on anything else, but I couldn't scrub his words from my head. Just once, Dan. Just once. They played on loop like a dare. Lena returned that Sunday. I wrapped my arms around her tighter than usual, kissed her neck, told her I missed her. She smiled, oblivious. I felt like a goddamn fraud. That night I initiated sex. It wasn't bad. It never was with Lena. She was soft, warm, attentive. But the entire time, I had to fight images. Liam's lips, Liam's hand brushing mine, the way he looked at me like he already knew what I was running from. Afterward, I lay awake staring at the ceiling while Lena curled into my side. "You okay?" she mumbled sleepily. "Yeah," I whispered. "Just tired." Lie number 1. Or maybe number 10. Monday night, I caved. I texted him. "Can we talk?" No response. So I sent another. "Please." At 11:47 p.m., he replied. "You know where to find me." His place was exactly how I remembered it, dim, cluttered, lived in. A half-empty whiskey bottle on the counter. A hoodie tossed across the back of a chair. It smelled like cedar and something warm, familiar. Him. He didn't speak when he opened the door. Just stepped aside to let me in. I walked past him and stopped in the center of the room, like I didn't know what to do with my hands. Liam sat on the couch, legs apart, elbows on his knees. He looked tired. Older. Maybe it was the dim light, or maybe it was just the weight of everything he'd carried alone. "You came," he said quietly. "You really left me no choice." He exhaled a dry laugh. "Didn't think you'd ever talk to me again. I've been thinking about nothing but you." He looked up, slowly. "Then why did you run?" "Because I'm not like you," I said, voice sharper than I intended. "I don't have this figured out. I've spent my whole life being one version of myself. And then you. You kissed me back, Dan." Silence. I dropped my eyes. "Yeah. I did." He stood up and walked to me, close enough that I could smell the whiskey on his breath, see the pulse in his throat. "I'm not asking you to be someone you're not," he said. "I just needed to know if what I felt was real. And it was. I have Lena. I know. I love her. I know that too." He looked at me then, searching my face for something I didn't know how to name. "You said once," I whispered. "That's what you wanted, right? Just once." He nodded. "Yeah. But that's bullshit, isn't it?" His jaw tensed. "Yeah." I reached for the bottle on the counter and took a swig straight from it. The burn grounded me. "I don't know what the hell I'm doing," I admitted. "But I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. Not since you said those words. Not since that kiss." He took the bottle from my hand, set it down gently. Then stopped thinking. The kiss was slower this time. Less desperate. Like he was giving me space to change my mind. I didn't. When our lips met, something in me unclenched. Like I'd been holding my breath for years without realizing it. Hands roamed. Shirts came off. We stumbled toward the bedroom like gravity had shifted. And when it happened, it wasn't fast or frantic. It was deliberate. Careful. Like Liam had been playing this out in his mind for years, and wanted to get it exactly right. He kissed my neck. Brushed his fingers down my spine. And I let him. Because in that moment, I wasn't anyone's boyfriend. I wasn't straight. I wasn't confused. I was just a man in a bed with someone who saw all of me, and still wanted more. After we lay side by side, I stared at the ceiling, breath shallow. Liam didn't speak. He didn't have to. I reached for my phone. 4 missed texts from Lena. "Just got home. Hope you're not still working late. Made your favorite tea. Come home soon." I turned the screen face down. Beside me, Liam whispered, "Do you regret it?" "I don't know." He nodded like he expected that. "But I think," I said, turning toward him, "I'll regret it more if this is the last time." He blinked. Slowly. Then he smiled. I didn't go home that night. I couldn't. Instead, I lay tangled in Liam's sheets, naked, skin still warm from what we'd done, breath uneven from the aftermath. I should have felt ashamed. I should have felt sick. But all I could feel was relief. like something buried inside me had finally cracked open and let the light in. Liam didn't sleep. Neither did I. We just lay there, silent, his fingers lightly tracing circles on my chest. His touch wasn't demanding. It was reverent, careful even now. "You're still shaking," he whispered. "I don't know what I am right now." He didn't respond. Maybe he knew better than to fill the silence with lies. By the time I finally left, the sun was rising. I walked home in the same clothes I'd worn the night before, wearing the scent of Liam like a secret no one could see, but I felt it everywhere. Lena was asleep on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. A cold cup of tea sat on the table beside her, and I knew it was the one she made for me. Guilt hit like a truck. Not in the chest, but deeper. In the marrow. I kissed her forehead. She stirred, murmured my name, and smiled in her sleep. I hated myself. That afternoon, I avoided Liam's text. I ignored his name lighting up my phone. I told myself it was a mistake, a moment, a one-time slip. But every time I looked at Lena, I felt like a fraud dressed as a boyfriend. That night, I dreamed of Liam again. Only this time, I was the one reaching for him. The days passed in slow motion. At work, I couldn't focus. In meetings, I drifted. At home, Lena noticed. "You've been off lately," she said, rubbing my shoulder one night while we cooked dinner. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah. Just tired." Lie number. I'd lost count. I started avoiding her. I worked late even when there was no work. I'd sit in my car outside Liam's apartment, engine running, wondering if I'd knock, or if he was doing the same thing somewhere else. I wasn't proud of any of it. But the truth is, once you've tasted something that makes you feel alive, going back to pretending is like trying to unlearn breathing. A week later, Liam finally called. "You disappeared." I needed space. To pretend it didn't happen? To figure out what it meant. "And did you?" I hesitated. "I think about you. Every day. Every night." Silence. "Then come over," he said, voice low, steady. "You don't have to pretend with me." That second time was different. More desperate. Hungrier. Like now that the seal had broken, we were both racing to make up for lost time. There was no hesitation. Just hands, mouths, bodies learning each other like a language we both already knew. When we finished, I looked at him, really looked. His hair a mess. Sweat on his collarbone. Lips bruised from kissing me too hard. I said it before I could stop myself. "I've never felt this with anyone else." Liam's eyes searched mine. "Then why are you still holding on to her?" I sat up, wrapping the sheet around my waist. "Because I love her too. And I've built a life with her. And part of me still wants it. But another part of you wants this." "Yeah. So what are we doing, Dan?" "I don't know. I really don't." That night, Lena confronted me. She held my phone in her hand. My last message to Liam lit up on the screen. "I wish I were with you right now." She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared at me with the kind of silence that breaks bones. "Who is he?" she asked, voice barely audible. I couldn't lie anymore. "Liam." Her lip trembled. "How long?" "Just recently." She let out a bitter laugh. "Do you even know who you are anymore?" "No," I admitted. "But I know I didn't mean to hurt you." "Then why did you?" "Because I wanted something I didn't even know I was missing. Because I wasn't brave enough to tell the truth before it was too late. Because Liam made me feel seen in a way that terrified me. But I didn't say any of that. I just stood there, empty." "Leave," she whispered. I drove aimlessly for hours. I didn't call Liam. I didn't go home. I didn't even know where home was anymore. By midnight, I found myself parked in front of his building again. This time, I didn't hesitate. When he opened the door, I didn't speak. I just kissed him, like the world had ended and he was the only thing left standing. He kissed me back without asking why. Because he already knew. Lena was gone when I came back to the apartment. No note. No suitcase. just the scent of her perfume lingering on the sheets like a memory I couldn't erase. I sat on the edge of the bed with my head in my hands, staring at the imprint her body had left in the mattress. I'd shattered the life we built, the safety, the predictability, the version of myself that I had packaged so neatly for the world. And yet, under the rubble, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: honesty. The kind that burns. The next morning, Liam made coffee while I sat at his kitchen table like a man waiting for a sentence. He didn't touch me, didn't kiss me, just poured a mug, slid it across to me, and sat across the table. "You told her," he said. I nodded. "She found out." Liam exhaled slowly. "Was it worth it?" "I don't know yet." Silence stretched between us, not awkward, but raw. "She didn't deserve it," I said. "She loved me. She gave me everything. And I threw it all away for… what? Curiosity." He looked me dead in the eye. "Is that what this is to you? Curiosity?" "No," I said quickly. "Not anymore." "Then stop pretending it's something shameful. You didn't just cheat on her, Dan. You betrayed yourself long before that." The words hit harder than any slap could have. Because they were true. I'd lied to Lena. But I'd lied to me for so much longer. I used to say I wasn't into guys. That Liam was just my best friend. That those lingering thoughts were just passing sparks in a dark tunnel. That I was straight, and that word had to mean something. But the truth was, I'd been building walls around myself for years. And Liam had broken through them just by telling the truth. I finished the coffee in silence, then looked up at him. "I don't know who I am without the lie." He stood, walked over, and put his hands on either side of my face. "Then start figuring it out, with someone who already knows the real you." In the following weeks, I didn't call Lena. I didn't chase her down with empty apologies or promises I couldn't keep. What could I possibly say? I loved you, but I never really knew myself. I wanted to be yours, but part of me belonged to someone else. Instead, I sat with my shame, my grief, my desire. Liam didn't ask for commitment. He didn't push me for answers. He just showed up, again and again. Sometimes with food. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with nothing but the warmth of his body in my bed. And slowly I let the old version of me die. I stopped saying, "I'm straight." Stopped defending my masculinity like it was some fragile artifact. I didn't suddenly become gay or bisexual or anything with a clean label. I became honest. And Liam was the only person who saw that as something worth loving. One night, as we walked along the pier in the cold, wind brushing our cheeks red, I turned to him and asked, "Do you ever regret it?" "Regret what?" he said. "Telling me. Asking for that one night." He looked out at the water for a long time before answering. "No," he said. "Because I'd rather lose everything than go one more year pretending I didn't want you." His voice cracked on that last word, want, and I felt it in my spine. "You didn't lose me," I said. "You made me see myself." He glanced at me, eyes brimming with something heavier than joy but lighter than pain. "And do you know who you are now?" I shrugged. "Not completely. But I know I want you in it." Liam didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He just reached for my hand, slowly, like asking permission from the ghost of who I used to be. I let him take it, not because I was ready to shout it from rooftop, not because I had a plan for what came next, but because that night, under the stars, I stopped asking myself if I was gay or straight or in between. I just knew I was his. And for the first time in my life, that was enough.